Wow!
You're welcome, Braves
Hey.
fans. I saved it. I looked to the western skies Friday night after it felt like I left them for months. I guess it was only 3 games. And I've reclaimed the Braves. They put the bat signal up in the western sky, so I'll watch the game Friday night, and then again Saturday and again Sunday. Boom, boom, boom. 3 wins in a row. You're welcome.
Bang.
You're welcome. Sometimes it's tough love.
And a road trip that after the sweep in LA and then losing the first one in Arizona felt disastrous.
6-4.
6-4.
Yeah, not too bad.
You go 6-4 on the road, out west especially.
Yeah.
You feel like, all right.
Now we come home. We got the Cardinals starting tomorrow, and then we got the Brewers after them. So it's a tough week
That's a tough stretch.
Across the other divisions, but nonetheless, Telvin, popped off on Instagram this weekend. I think he's losing. The support that he did have is going to go away pretty quick if you keep acting like this. It's untoward.
Yeah.
It's untoward to walk around and look kind of out of it and drop F-bombs and, mildly threaten. I don't know who the threat was. I'm not saying anyone feels personally threatened, but it was kind of a threatening.
Yeah,
right?
well, it's just, I think
need to watch out.
We talked about this on the show, too. Telvin says that, everybody's talking about this, and everybody's not talking about it. We're talking about it because we're a sports radio show and we cover the Jaguars, and people on social media are talking about it. But like you said, I think you go around town, Gen Pop is not talking about it.
Well, that's where social media can give you kind of a warped impression of what's really going on. Like, when it happened the day that Telvin said he wasn't going to play anymore, then I got questions. But I'm off and about. My own boys that are Jaguar fans, they don't, what a dummy is what, or why would he leave that? Speaking about the money, how would he leave that money? So we'll see. I would suspect that to be honest with you, if you asked me, I would say that Telvin Smith won't play ever again for the Jags. If you ask me today, now I'm not saying that. Saying if you had to ask me, if you put my feet to the fire and I had to give an answer, this looks like it's going the wrong direction because that rambling post on Saturday just was uncomfortable.
It was odd.
If you want to go with I'm stepping away from football, I need, to be right for me and my family, the people can embrace that. But when you follow it up, 2 days later with some rambling, barely coherent, it was strange.
It was strange. It was unusual. Speaking of unusual, for the first time in ever, 135 times, a Game 7 decided by a buzzer beater in the NBA playoffs. What a crazy, crazy shot by Kawhi Leonard yesterday to give the Toronto Raptors the win and push them into the Eastern Conference Finals.
Really did look like something that they draw up in Hollywood
to
end, a scene in Hoosiers as the ball hit the front rim, bounced up, hit the front rim again, bounced over, hit the back rim, bounced up, hit the back rim, sat there, and then fell in. And by the way, there are some awesome photographs coming out of that.
Yeah.
People have captured that moment. Like I saw one from up above, and you can see Kawhi kneeling in the corner with 3 of his teammates staring, and you can see the ball just starting to go through the net.
Just staring at it, just hoping.
Really,
so at that point,
really interesting.
After the first time it hit the rim, it's like you just stare at it and just hope if you're a Toronto fan, and it was crazy. There's a lot of videos, too, on social media of fans videoing, like, their reaction watching it. Like, they knew, good or bad, it was a moment.
Yeah.
So they would have their significant other video them watching it, and it was like, this insane reaction. Toronto's good, but I don't think they're better than Milwaukee.
Well, I think what's going to happen is I think they're pretty. Look, this is going to come down to like Middleton versus Siakam.
Right.
I mean, Giannis and Kawhi are going to, they're going to cancel each other. I mean, each will have games where they win that matchup.
Sure.
I think Lowry and Bledsoe are going to
sort of
cancel each other at the point guard position. So Gasol and Lopez at center are not going to be that big of a difference. So this is a pretty even matchup. Is Chris Middleton as the second best player for the Bucks that much better than the second best player for Kawhi? And I will say this: if you just watch this past series, you've gotten the wrong impression of that. Pascal Siakam was a really good player all year, and he just had a bad series. So if he bounces back, it should be terrific. Again, I pegged before the season even began that this was going to be a referendum on superstars and their comparison to LeBron. Right? Because LeBron in the East ran through it every year, didn't matter where he played, who he played with. So, if Kawhi Leonard is close to LeBron in talent, or if Giannis is close to LeBron in talent, then they should be able to take their teams all the way to the at least to the finals And, well, one of them will.
Yeah.
One of them will.
You know, and Kawhi now, I mean, this is, you talk about putting your best film on tape before you hit the market. Kawhi Leonard is doing that as he'll hit the free agency in the offseason, and he's had quite a run here for Toronto. You would expect it to continue, and like you said, you would expect Toronto to just back the Brinks truck up and max him out and give him whatever he wants to stay there, because he's, with that shot now, is a folk hero in Toronto.
We have a message here from Bradley. Did we see how jacked Raquel Armstead is? Hopefully he should be a nasty compliment for Leonard. Yeah, and I think that's where the nickname comes from. You know, they call him Rock Armstead.
Rock Armstead.
So yeah, he's. I saw that at Temple, so I didn't need to see the OTAs.
See, and I didn't see the Temple,
shorts.
so I saw some of the video from OTAs or from rookie minicamp, and I was taken aback by how just it's a big dude.
Another message to question here: what's going on in Gainesville? That's a good question. He's having a little slump on the recruiting trail. I have a hard time putting a whole lot of faith in the 2021 recruiting class. I'm not worried at all about it. I doubt Dan Mullen is too. It's nice to get those recruits. It keeps your program's name, at the top of the hopper when it comes to recruiting. But Florida's recruiting moving forward is going to depend on how they do on the field this year. And this year's team is pretty stocked and loaded. Just got the question.
Yeah.
We've done a little bit of Braves talk. They needed me. Yeah, they needed me. And so I answered the call on Friday, and I've got them 3 wins in a row, and we'll see when it comes up tomorrow.
Kevin, I don't know if he's related to Charlton, says weed and hose going on in Hogtown. Interesting.
Who cares?
Tell that to your alter ego, Charlton.
Charlton's like a 60-year-old man, should be at working, and he's watching Facebook Live after the drill. Okay? Right. Which town doesn't have their business in order? I mean, what
Sounds
are we
like
doing?
Houston.
Huh?
Doesn't have their Houston.
Come on.
Houston, you have a problem, and his name's Charlton. Also, your basketball team.
That's correct.
2 problems.
Well, that happened since we left too Friday. That was a bit of a surprise. The Rockets say they're going to stick with what they got. They want to keep Rod and James Harden. I guess right now you just kind of wait on the Warriors to fall apart a little bit.
I mean, that's where you have to bank on if you're Houston. It's like you said, attrition, tearing the Warriors apart and giving you a shot. But I mean, if you're a West team and you watch that, it's like, how do the Rockets ever scare you? If in that position they can't get it done against Golden State without Kevin Durant, then.
Well, I think they got victimized by a 1-game window. I think if they played a 7-game series and the Warriors didn't have Durant, they would win the series. I believe that, but that's just an opinion. I mean,
maybe so.
The Warriors have proven in the past without Durant that they can win championships. So we'll see if that.
Breaking news in the association this morning while we were on the drill. John Beilein from Michigan has taken the Cavs job.
Yeah, it's an odd one.
It's an odd one because he's 66. He's got a good thing going in Michigan, but sometimes whether it's you feel like you need the challenge or it's that 5-year guaranteed contract cheddar cheese from the NBA level that you get that money and you're set for life. But you would think John Beilein is already set for life. So it's a little bit of an interesting choice, but he'll take a run in Cleveland and Michigan will have to keep it going.
All right, we're going to end this with an after the drill exclusive.
Wow.
Material that did not even make
on the cutting
the
room
show.
floor.
It's not even on the cutting room floor. It's in my cutting room brain. I had I had an interesting story happen to me this weekend, and I forgot about it today in all our conversations.
I like
and
this.
everything. So
Is this like a Jeff About Town situation?
This is not exactly.
Okay.
This happened in the comfy confines of my own home in the deep, dark recesses of night.
Okay.
I'm in bed asleep. I understand this. Mrs. P and I have opposite schedules. I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night, get up at 3:30 in the morning. She goes to bed at 2 in the morning, is up at 10.
Okay.
Leads to a long, happy marriage. You guys should all try that. So I'm in bed. It's Friday night or Saturday. I think it's Friday night. And I'm in bed and I'm laying there, the sound asleep. And I'm woken up by this. Oh, honey. Okay, you don't need that.
Emergency
Someone is breaking in your house, or there's something going on, and then I hear, I'm like, what in the world? So, and I'm just like shaking the cobwebs out,
right.
and I reach, and she's like doing the jump up and down, ooh, kind of thing, and I look on the floor there, and Mrs. P had walked in nighttime, in the dead of night, to get ready and go to bed herself, get some shut eye, and she has stepped on a snake.
Oh dear!
Can you imagine the fear that
There's a snake in your bedroom?
There's a snake on the bedroom floor that has just been stepped on by Mrs. P. So it's one of those little. I always call it the wrong one. Is it the king snake that we have in Florida? That
The little black ones?
Which one? No, it's the ones that have the colored rings
Oh,
on
yeah,
them.
yeah.
And it's like there's two snakes.
Snake.
It's not corn. One is a coral snake, and the other's a king snake.
Yeah.
One's poisonous, one's not.
Right. The coral's the poison.
Okay, so it's a
the
king snake, and we've had this little snake, not the same one, but that type of snake I've actually had in my house 2 or 3 times since
I had
we
one in
moved
my
out
garage
there.
once.
One of those little, yeah. So anyway, she got me. It took me literally. I mean, my head is, it's in the dead of sleep. So you know how you're not really what the heck's going on, kind of thing. And so after sitting there for a second and wondering why isn't this sucker scooting off, so at the point I thought, well, maybe it's dead. Maybe the cat got it. Maybe the cat killed it, brought it in.
Right.
And so it's still laying, and it looks like it's wet for some reason. I don't know. Are they wet if they shed skin or something? I don't know. But it looks like slimy wet. And so, hell no, she says, heck. And so finally I get up, I grab like an ankle sock, I put it on my hand, I pick the snake up, I take it outside, I let it go. But it was, if that happens at 2 p.m, it's almost like it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
If that happens at like 3 a.m. and you get woken up from it, and your poor wife, because my wife is like many of you out there, does not like snakes.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
About that.
I was reading a message there. Sorry.
Anyway. Yeah. I had one like that a few weeks where I don't know the big black ones. Was it rat
Racer?
snake? Racer, yeah. Well, it was racer.
Rat snake. Yeah.
Was it was like good 4 or 5 feet long. Was slithering across my grass as I was getting in the car. About gave me a heart attack.
Yeah, it's
like
something about
4:30 in the
snakes,
morning,
dude. They're not
"Yo!"
that big and they're not that fierce.
No, and most
but
of them
they just spook you.
Right, most of them around us too are like the non-venomous ones. They're totally
We only
harmless.
have I read this. There's only like 6 poisonous snakes in all of Florida.
Yeah.
Now, most of the snakes you see, and in fact, in the Jacksonville area, I think there's just 4. I think there's moccasins, obviously.
Right.
There's rattles, diamondbacks. There's pygmy rattlers.
Right.
And maybe one more.
I think there's one other,
but that's it. I mean, for most of the snakes you see,
most of them are just out there just eating frogs and whatnot, and just let them be.
Correct, and mosquitoes and other snakes.
Doing their thing.
But yeah, and needless to say, and look, it wasn't. I don't. Snakes don't bother me that. I don't like them. I also
the
get
circumstances,
spooked,
right?
but they don't bother me. My poor wife was about to have a heart attack because she hates snakes.
Yeah,
but
I don't blame her.
She's not one of these. She's not one of those like kill every snake you see people.
No.
If you don't, because if a snake.
Cottonmouth, that's the other one.
Yeah, cottonmouth is a moccasin. Same thing.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Touche.
Yeah. But really, for the most part, if you find a snake, you're better off. If it's not a poison, if it's a poison snake, kill it. And if it's not a poisonous snake, then I let them go. Yeah, that's true.
2 types of snakes. I don't like dead ones and
live ones.
And live ones.
Very good. Well said.
That's fine.
Anyway, there you go. That's what you get with an after the drill
an exclusive. Can't do any better than that.
See what Dan Hicken brings.
We'll see you on Super Tuesday, and it's Lottery Party Day.
Oh,
so Wednesday,
no.
The stories of debauchery will be huge, massive. Love you, Googans.